In today's tutorial, we're covering transitions versus hard cuts, as well as how to add titles and finally export your project out of the software. First thing we're going to do is we're going to go over how transitions work. A transition is basically a blend between two separate video clips. Now, while it's not necessary, it does help in certain spots to have transitions just for a smoother flow. But what I'm going to show you now is a hard cut. It's two clips put together without any transition. So let's say if we want one clip to fade into another clip, what we'll have to do is go over to our effects and we're going to select video transitions. And there's a few transitions you have at your disposal, but we're going to keep it simple and we're going to go with the cross dissolve. Probably one of the more common transitions in video that you'll see. So you'll click and drag and drop this in between your two clips. And now we should have one clip fading out while the other's coming in. Now, I want you all to pay attention to something. Usually when you put a transition between two clips, it's supposed to cover both clips. Now, if you look here, you see it's only getting coverage on one of the video clips. The reason for that is because this clip is at its video limit. So since this is at its media limit, what I'll have to do is I'll have to shave a bit off of the beginning of this clip for it to actually fully dissolve into the other one. All right, so I'll just click and drag and pull this back. And now there's a little bit of room for that fade to actually work. Now, with each transition, you have a number of ways to manipulate how that transition works. For example, right now we're using a wipe. Now I can have the wipe go from left to right or right to left, or I can have it come out at an angle. All I have to do to make these changes is double click on my transition on my timeline and go up to my effects controls. And there it'll give me a few options to make some things different. Now that we got our transitions in, we're going to play with some basic text. Go to your graphics tab, select new layer and text. And as you see, it brings up this text on our screen. Now it's going to say new layer text by default, but you can select anywhere within that text and you can type whatever you want. Now, once you have your text typed out, you have the ability to move this anywhere in the frame that you choose. So if you want to do lower thirds, you would drop that into, the bottom left or right hand corner. If you want it right in the middle, above. You usually want to make sure you pick a spot for your text where, your colors don't blend in with anything so it can be seen clearly. So you want to find a space that, doesn't take too much away from it. You also have a few options to make your text pop. One of the most simple things is adding a drop shadow, and that'll give it a little bit of separation from the background. You can also change fonts as well as the color of the drop shadow. So you have a number of ways to, manipulate text when you're editing in Premiere Pro. You also have the ability to change the color of the drop shadow, change the font and size of your text. So if you download fonts from anywhere on the internet, these can be installed and used in this program as well. Now you also have the ability to add text just by clicking this graphics tab, and they have a few options on the side of templates for text that have animation. Some of these are really cool, but you just select this graphics tab. You can go over and click and drag, and it'll kind of give you a preview of what you can do. So now that we got our text and our transitions, it's time to finally export our video. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to File and Export Media. All right, so once you're ready to export your file, the screen is going to come up. It pretty much shows your in and out points for your video and what area of your timeline you're going to be exporting. You have the ability to change the file name. So by default, it's going to be titled whatever your sequence is. If you didn't title your sequence, it's going to be labeled sequence 1. But you can go ahead and click in there and rename it, the appropriate title that you want to have for your file. In this case, this is going to be editing tutorial. And you want to pay attention to this screen because this also shows you where your file would be exporting to. In this case, it's exporting straight to the desktop, which is something I like to do because, the desktop is right there. You don't have to really search through a whole bunch of folders. That's if your desktop is clean. But if not, you can export straight to a folder or to a USB device or a hard drive. Now, the cool thing about this updated version of Premiere is you can actually change your video presets to match, if you're posting to any social media sites such as YouTube, Vimeo, Instagram, or Twitter. You can select one of these options and it'll give you the correct aspect ratio that you'll need to upload your video to those sites without dealing with any type of cropping. All right, and once you select that, you'll go down to export, and from there you play the waiting game. Obviously, the longer your video is, the longer it'll take time to export. In this case, this is kind of like a 5 or 6 minute video, so this is going to take this 8 minutes. Not a long time. You can walk away, make a sandwich, and then come back, and voila, your video is exported and ready to upload.